Live from the Pickleball Giants studios in San Antonio, Mike Taylor and Sam Freese.
Oh, welcome to Cowboys Overreact. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Cowboys victory Thanksgiving. I am Sam Freese. We're going to be joined shortly here by Mike. As I said, this is Cowboys Overreact, brought to you by Pickleball Giant. I know I say this every time Mike's out of the room, that we're going to keep it short, and then we end up going for an hour. But this time, I swear we're going short due to, obviously, the holiday. Mike, it sounds like you are joining us from the hellscape. Oh, God. Okay.
Good Lord, look at that.
Good Lord.
It's windy. Sorry, I'm drunk off my ass and it's windy.
Yeah,
Do I have drunk face?
I think we both do. I've got tequila face because I was threatening if the Cows lost just to read Jimmy's book in Madden voice for an hour on here. So luckily we're spared from that. Yeah, a nice, decisive victory for the Cowboys spared us.
I'm about to read Jimmy's book. My girlfriend bought it for me, and it's waiting on me when I get home. So as soon as I get home, I'm going to read that thing. This is for you, Boomer.
For the first time.
It's for you boys here. Here you go. Oh, let me center that up so you can see it. This is Hawaiian spiced rum. How about that? Whole Hawaiian spiced island rum.
Yeah, went in the hellscape.
And yeah, this is to you boys. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'm tired of people fucking with Dak Prescott. He was great today. So that's for you.
Yeah, I saw your defense of him continued.
It's like people don't. I think people that unfairly think he's supposed to be. I don't know what people want him to be. John Elway? Johnny Unitas?
Yes, he's the Cowboys quarterback.
Anything short of Johnny Unitas, and he's terrible, and they should get rid of him. It's like I think most people that think that about him, the people that are the hardest on him, and we're hard on him on this show.
Sure.
I think we're realistically hard on him. But the people that have the most ridiculous opinions about him, I don't think any of them watch any other games in the NFL.
Or you alluded to Red Zone.
Oh, yeah, they don't watch jack shit but Red Zone and highlights, or they catch a Monday night game here and there.
Play fantasy.
They're not watching full 60-minute games of other teams, because if you watched all the games, you'd realize that Dak's exactly what we always say he is. Here we are starting off with Dak again, but it's insane. We're lucky to have the guy. He's a damn good quarterback. He's not the best quarterback in the league, and you alluded to my tweet. If Dak Prescott's mediocre, then what the fuck's Daniel Jones even doing in the NFL? Because by comparison, if Dak's mediocre, then God, Giants fans must think Daniel Jones is the worst quarterback in the history of the league. You know, Josh Allen's not. Josh Allen struggled a little bit in the last 4 weeks. Are they calling for his job in Buffalo? I doubt it, because there's a bill on his helmet, not a star. That's the way it goes, like you said.
Yeah, but it also proves the absurdity of this league, that you can go 4-1 with your backup quarterback, or go 7-3 in your first 10 games with Daniel Jones as your starter. I mean, that's also the parity of this league leads you to undervalue a guy like Dak versus a guy like Daniel Jones that can still lead a team to 7-3. So it's easy to look and say, look, you can find that guy again. But even the Dak today, last week, you could argue both of the interceptions fell more on the receiver's shoulders than him. I mean, with bad routes and miscommunication that wasn't picked up, calls that was, hots that weren't picked up. And then even today, the first interception with Gallup, they thought they had a free play. And granted, I mean, you got to be smarter than that, but that was just, that was a bit of a fluke interception itself. Like you said, like you alluded to it, when it came time to make the plays, he led an offense in the second half that had 3 straight touchdowns on their first 3 possessions, and then drove down and had a missed field goal on their 4th possession and last possession of the second half. I mean, I don't know I don't know what you want more than that, especially with the
Johnny Unitas
exactly.
perfection, or
right, and with the weapons they have, and perfect example today where first 25 plays of the game, it was 13 rushes, 12 passes. I mean, when you can have that balanced of an attack, you just need a bus driver to an extent. You don't need a guy that's going out there and, looking for the home run shot every play. And you saw it a couple times when they were going deep. And even then it felt a bit, it felt a bit as forced as the reverses. How many they're averaging, 5 end arounds or reverses to Pollard a game, it seems. Like that could be toned down a little bit as well if we're nitpicking. But I mean, overall, that's the game plan you want for Dak, is just spread the ball, run that balanced attack, and play off your weapons.
Yeah, and they lost to the Packers, and I got pissed over that too. But that again, the Bills damn near got beat by the Lions today. Probably should have gotten beat by the Lions. So whatever. Let's get to this. Let's get to the actual story of the game, and that is in the second half and winning time. Dallas proved to be a hell of a lot better than New York. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the better defense, and I don't know if they've got the better coach, but they have way more weapons than New York, and and on defense they shut New York's ass down. That was a junk score at the end, so I don't count that. And the offense got rolling, and the offensive line held up, and Zeke Elliott had his best game of the year. Zeke, I thought today, was better than Tony Pollard, which is the first time all year we've been able to say that. Tony didn't have a lot.
You know what the odd thing is, though? No question, Zeke was the better of the two, and Zeke had, one of his better performances. Pollard still had 2 more carries than Zeke today. Zeke had 16, Pollard had 18. So, I mean, even for the people that want to, say Zeke needs a minimized role from the current, like he just had 2 less carries into the game and was way more effective. I mean, doubled him up on average, damn near. It was 5.7 to 3.3. So, I mean, no question the more explosive option, but still the guy that got less targets, even when you count in Pollard's, passing game performance, that's the game plan we want, where Pollard's getting 20 and Zeke's getting about 15, 16 touches, whether it be, Pollard with the, catching or mainly rushing. But I mean, that's the balance you want. I think that's Zeke. If he can continue to show as fresh as he is now, because there's still, we're still looking at 6 more games? Yeah, 6 more games. So, I mean.
Which, by the way, are back-to-back home. They're going to have, this is a stretch of 3 straight home games. Those 6 games, you've got Colts next, then you've got the Texans next, both at home. Then you go on the road and play Jacksonville. At worst, you should be 2-1 at worst in that stretch of games.
Yeah,
what are they now? 8-3?
8-3.
So you're looking 10-4 here going into the Eagles game, and that's also at Jerry World. I'm feeling pretty good about this thing, and I bitched for 2 weeks about the Packers game, and I've worried about it coming back to haunt them. And that was because I was worried a little bit about today's game, which proved to be just that, just worry and nothing else. But now that this is a big win, man, now that they won this game, that Packers game's ancient history. They've now beaten the hell out of the Vikings. They've whooped the Giants in back-to-back weeks, going into an easy stretch of the season because December's going to suck. Because that starting with that Eagles game, I think they have the 3 of the last 4 games I want to say I don't have in front of me are on the road. And so there's a chance for you to really set yourself up here to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room in December, because December is going to be really hard. So this thing's rolling. I mean, Zeke was good. They're getting coached up. They're showing progression. They're getting better as a team. They're getting better as a team week to week. All 3 tight ends helped the cause today, which that hadn't been the case. That's good.
One thing that did flare up, though, I mean, you saw multiple first downs negated by penalties, and
that's just
what
who they
end
are.
up with 11 or 12 penalties, but it hadn't been as bad as this, I think, since like week 2, if I remember them saying. I mean, they were back over the double-digit total penalties, and that's something you can't have. I mean, they have the weapons to bail them out, because how many times did they convert on 3rd and 10 plus? I mean, it felt like 3rd and 12 just meant you're running a deeper route, but it was still going to be there because they were winning those individual battles when the Giants would bring that Wink Martindale game show defense.
Wink Martindale.
And just run straight man across the back with the matching up with the receivers. And the Cowboys were winning those individual battles. Speaking of Mike Gallup, it looks like he is starting to finally show consistent form similar to, before the injury. It looks like he's getting stronger and stronger each week. And, a couple of those plays were just grown man catches. I mean, just going up, getting hands on the ball and holding on to it while the Giants were swiping through it. I mean, it wasn't bad coverage, bad defense. It was just Gallup, using his big frame and strong hands to make those plays. I mean, that's where, again, looking at what your expectations of Dak, like, get more out of Mike Gallup. I mean, the OBJ question starts coming in. They loved showing that highlight of the OBJ one-handed catch every time CD went for another one-handed catch. I mean, if you're talking about even bringing in another weapon like OBJ, I mean, that's where I think you're going to just continue to see more of, hopefully, the bus driver in Dak and spread that out, because that's when they're most effective, no question. I mean, when Dak is able to run that hurry-up offense where he's just keying the play and spreading the defense out.
I'm not a huge fan of bringing people in late in the season like this, but Odell Beckham Jr.'s proven that he can do it and fit in and be good immediately. Yeah. He did it last year with the Rams. You can bring him in, and he can fit in pretty quickly with your group if you have a strong group, and they do, a strong group of leaders and good players around him and a good quarterback and a good coach. And what a better
locker room that wants him.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they love him. They can't wait to get him. All the receivers want him. He'll make everybody's life easier, including CD Lamb's.
There's no envy in that room.
Yeah, and what better time to get him up to speed than 3 games in a row against Indianapolis, Houston, and Jacksonville. 3 bad teams. You can work him in, let him go out there and maybe take a couple of lumps, miss a couple of assignments because he's just got here. And then by the Philly game, he's part of the family. So it's time to go get him. I hope that they can make that happen. I don't know if it's going to. Maybe it's just because we're in our little Texas bubble. It kind of feels like he's going to come here.
If it's coming down, if the reports are true that it's coming down to Dallas or New York, who he
hated
Dallas. Exactly. And I mean,
he was miserable.
That's why I never bought into that storyline, and it felt like it was more of a probably potential negotiating ploy by his camp to try to run Dallas to immediately give him those, multi-years like apparently he wants, which we can still have that argument. I mean, 30-year-old receiver recovering from torn ACL, giving a multi-year contract to at what number? I mean, there's going to be conversation if that does happen. But, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Do it. I mean, mortgage, whatever, cap, flexibility, you're probably
love to hear it.
If it means you're losing Pollard in the offseason, you got
next year.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely right there with you. All right. What else did I mentioned the tight ends? That was nice to see too.
Yeah, how about Ferguson?
Hendershot's a helper. Ferguson looked like he looked like I don't know who he looked like, a wide receiver on the hurdle. He looked great. Yeah, obviously that's not going to happen every week, but it's one more body. It's one more person to put on film. It's one more person that Dak can start to trust. And this thing's starting to get. You got 3 weeks here against non-playoff teams, and you have a chance here to really get rolling going into that stretch of December games, starting with the Eagles. You really have a shot, or mid-December, I guess. Win all three of the next Eve. Yeah, Christmas Eve. Win all 3 of these next 3, and you got Odell Beckham Jr. Then I might actually start, and I hate this because it's November, technically. I might start believing that they're a Super Bowl contender, which I hate because everybody that makes the playoffs is a Super Bowl contender because the NFL sucks. But we don't trust the Cowboys for good reason. And last year I lost faith in them in the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season because they didn't play very well and Dak was banged up. So I reserve the right to change my mind. Let's just get through these next 3 games against these bad teams, feast on them, to use a Thanksgiving pun, and see where the thing is before the Eagles game, because they have a shot here to be really good. Starting mostly because they've got a quarterback who's good, and they've got a defense that's great. And I think based on today's NFL standards, by the way, they're great. Solid secondary, good linebackers, excellent pass rush. And all I heard for 6 weeks was how shitty against the run they are. Dalvin Cook did nothing. Granted, the Cowboys had a big lead and the Vikings had to go away with it. The Vikings had to go away from the run. Today, in a tight game, it wasn't like Saquon Barkley looked like an MVP candidate. So now it's back-to-back weeks here where you've held. Remember how worried we were 3 weeks ago going into this stretch of games? Oh my God, you've got Dalvin Cook and Saquon Barkley back,
and Jonathan Taylor the next week.
Yeah, John Taylor.
Colts.
Yeah, I don't fear that anymore. I mean, I'm not saying that Jonathan Taylor can't have a big day next week. But at least for 2 weeks in a row anyway, you look like you got serious finally about trying to stop the run. So it's a damn good defense, solid quarterback, good coach. They're kind of rolling, and there's not much else to say. I just sit back and watch it because it is the NFL, and God knows what's next, and God knows who might get hurt and all that kind of thing. But for now, you look at this thing, and just all you can say is nice work. And they absolutely, it's funny because another thing I may be, and I've been saying that I'm worried about that Packers loss coming back to haunt them. Shit, it may have lit a fire under their butts.
Yeah, I think that
maybe that was motivational. Maybe it's going to have the opposite effect on them, and they've gotten their act together 2 weeks in a row where they've beaten 2 playoff teams solidly. What was it, 40-3, and then today it was a blowout for all intents and purposes till the end. So you've now whipped the hell out of 2 playoff teams after that Packers loss. So hell, maybe in hindsight, the Packers loss was a good thing. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we, as much as we talked about that week following the Packers loss, as much as we talked about, 10-7 is not a guarantee to get you in the playoffs. If we're saying that, they're saying that. They know that. Yeah. They know how bad that loss was. They know, the hole it put them in, that they have now, responded very just full all the issues that we were talking about with the run game. No, there's no questions now. Like you got the record-setting victory on the road last week against the team that's leading the division where you lost, in Green Bay. Like you got just an absolute, just concise response to all the issues that were raised following that loss. And I think you're right. I think it's going to prove to be the turning point. If this thing does make the kind of postseason run, like we're saying it has the potential to, I think that's where you can pinpoint, that franchise record blown lead in the fourth quarter of that game against a bad Green Bay team.
I don't know if it'll carry over into playoff wins, but it's going to. It lit a fire under their butt to get their act together in the regular season anyway, and get past the Giants and stay on the heels of the Eagles. That's what nothing we saw today or last week is going to have any impact on whoever they play in the postseason, because that's completely different. That's a 1 week deal, like the World Cup. But this is about just staying afloat in the division and feeling good about it. Just get as good as you can until we get to the end of the season, so you can have the max team you can possibly have, injuries notwithstanding. Speaking of injuries, I've been on vacation, but I did see where Jerry's now said when Tyron Smith returns, he's going right back to left tackle.
Yep. And
they're going to slide the kid from Crowley over to left guard. I mean, I don't trust Tyron Smith, but when he's healthy, he's still pretty good. And so maybe help the offensive. And we're talking about getting Odell Beckham Jr. in here. They may get ready to be signing 2 free agents, so to speak. If you
want,
because
they hadn't
had Tyron Smith all year. So maybe you're about to sign a veteran 4-time All-Pro left tackle here in the next couple of weeks. So that's pretty cool, too. So it feels pretty good right now, man. That's why I got my cowboy blue shirt on.
No, I mean, I think this is, kind of like last week whenever I was in here rolling solo. It's like, what do you say after a 40-3
You're about to be rolling
win?
Solo again because I'm getting tired. What else
dude, pay the bills and get us out of here then. I mean,
make your
No, I'm just saying there's, when you, this game was, controlled by 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I mean, wasn't a whole lot of question. I mean, even the Giants were showing no urgency. I mean, they were still running, full long huddle offense with 5.5 minutes left, handing the ball off on first down. I mean, it was a game where it didn't feel like they were, gonna put up much of a fight, obviously with the garbage time touchdown, but I mean, it was never in question the majority of the fourth quarter. And obviously last week it was never in question, halfway through the second quarter. So, I mean,
Yeah.
what do you say after these games besides that's the expectations? That's what that's what you have to do week in, week out to win in this league. And let's not blow this, positive ground gained over a softer stretch of the schedule coming up.
Did you do the live spot last week when I missed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I knocked them all out.
Okay. Well, do it.
Well, no, I mean,
do we have to
here.
do all? We have to do. We got to do all of them, don't we? Don't we,
Pay
Lawrence?
for
Just do the main one, and we'll let Puma handle it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're good. All right. Well, okay. I've had 3 beers, 2 vodkas, and a shot of rum. So here we go. Hey, man, this thing's also brought to you mostly in part by Pickleball Giant 1604. Right off of the 1604 Bitters over near Rogers Ranch. I can't go anywhere anymore. I can't walk into a store anymore without seeing pickleball ads, pickleball books. Stephen Colbert just released a pickleball book. It's become all the rage, and that's great. And it's awesome for my boys over at Pickleball Giant, the only exclusive pickleball store in the city. So if you're going to jump on this pickleball train, and you're like, okay, well, I want to get the right gear. I want to have the right kind of paddle and stuff, because there's absolutely a difference in equipment. You can't just go, I'll go get some basketball shoes. No, they actually have pickleball shoes made for pickleballing at Pickleball Giant on 1604 in Bitters near Rogers Ranch. It is the official pickleball store of this show, the only one in town. Pickleball Giant. The name says it all. All right, Puma. I'm gonna go take a nap, Holmes. Well, you want to see where I'm at? You want to see the hellscape?
Yeah, give us a quick tour.
Oh,
real
and
fast.
By the way, 30 minutes before kickoff, my boy's power went out.
Oh, God.
We had to run down. The only little beer joint in town that's open. It's about a mile from here. It's the only one in town that happened to be open, and they happen to have power. We watched the first quarter at the bar, and I just got a beer because I wanted to justify being in there, and the power, thank God, came on in the second quarter. It's a freaking hellscape, man. We're not kidding. All right.
No, it's
Although
earned the name. Yeah,
but it's
look at
beautiful.
that. Yeah, sure.
It's beautiful.
Sure.
It's beautiful chaos. See the mountains? Those are the Coal Mountains. Here, I'll give you a better check. Can you see these mountains over there in the background?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
Man,
Yeah.
we were driving out to
The plane.
Waring earlier, and it was real foggy. And, there's
Where?
a little cliffside.
Welfare. Oh, okay.
Yeah, out to the in-laws.
Yeah.
And the roommate literally goes, if you squint really, really hard and just imagine you're not in Texas, that kind of looks like Hawaii. And I just deadpan looked at her like, that's a stretch, but sure.
This big hill over here. I mean, the first hill I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the middle of the second quarter, a chopper was flying over, and they lowered this thing because some damn hiker wiped out up there and got trapped, and they had to airlift the son of a bitch out. They put him on one of those stretcher things. I was hoping that it didn't start spinning. Remember that?
Yeah, like that.
Remember the old lady?
That
That old lady who's spinning and spinning and spinning. Thank God the Coast Guard was able to keep the thing from spinning.
Oh, thank God.
I probably busted their leg up there, and they had to go get their ass rescued.
Golly.
It's a hellscape. But, yeah, so I wasn't going to say nothing until I had to. But, yeah, we didn't have power today for the first quarter. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Pray for me. I'll be home soon.
You back with me Monday? You are, right? Yeah.
Yes, okay. Sir. And I'm gonna cut out a little bit early because I got to go get my dog a physical, or I won't be able to get her on the effing plane to get her back to Texas.
Yeah, the struggle is real in the hellscape.
It is. Pray. I know. Thoughts and prayers. You boys send all your love out here.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Love you hard. You too, man. You boys have a good one. Love you hard. See ya.
Later.
All right. So as you hear, Mike will be back on the radio show Monday. We're going to just kind of wrap up a few things. We'll hit a few comments. We'll pay some more bills and get to a few observations. I do think starting with happy to see the John Madden tribute that Thanksgiving games have now become. I mean, I think that'll be a nice tradition going forward. And then third leg Greg nailed it. Like show, a guy that has had, impact through playing, coaching, announcing, video game, hitting so many different generations. It's a nice touch. And all the cuts, especially the one where he's telling Nate Newton, like, Don't leave that turkey, big fella, or whatever it was he was saying, that doggone turkey. I mean, some of those clips are just nostalgia, straight to the vein, just classic golden audio. Speaking of golden audio, I love the fact that it's now we're getting Elvis Costello, Modest Mouse, and Blink-182 on the commercial outros. It's seeing the changing of generations. Let's burn through some comments so we can get out of here. Again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Let's see. Second place, Dallas Cowboys. You bet your ass, Sam Tobias. And that's why, this game's so important. Just creating a clear separation from the two teams in the division standings. Really, really showing. I mean, you beat them one time with Cooper Rush, and then if they had lost to them here, I mean, that would have arguably been more demoralizing than the Green Bay loss in some ways. Released the Kraken. It seemed like Mike had been surrounded by the Kraken for a while. Sick of the inconsistency. I hear you on that. I mean, the Dak inconsistency is absolutely, what has led to a trend of disappointing finishes to regular seasons and obviously, disappointing playoff games. But I mean, I think again, like that the consistent elite level consistent quarterbacks are, outside of three, you're going to get that consistency. It's about, or inconsistency. It's about how much you can limit the turnovers. And again, we saw 2 turnovers for Dak today, but one of them kind of a fluke. The other one, probably a bad call on the deep shot down the middle to CD. Did have that, you saw them. They were winning those one-on-one battles all day with the, with the Giants bringing the house pretty much every third down and matching up man across the board. But that one, CD wasn't able to pull down, ends up being the deflected interception. Wait for the draft, talking about the Giants. Yeah, the Giants are going to have some decisions to make with Daniel Jones. I think there's no question he's gone, but then you think about the future of this division, and the Giants are starting over with aging Saquon Barkley and a rookie quarterback, unless they can pull some kind of veteran free agent heist in the offseason or some kind of Matt Stafford-like trade. I think the Giants are stuck in a bit of purgatory. The record, I do believe in Brian Daboll, but when he was bouncing on the sideline with his headphones, he looked like a giant toddler. And the fact that he has his own personal towel girl is pretty funny for his bald head. Let's see. Oh, God, yeah. Red Clapper still doing commentary, getting ready. Yeah, I am getting ready for USA England. I loved, speaking of that, Sam, talking about all the World Cup themed commercials. The Lay's one is amazing. I mean, Peyton and Beckham, that's a good bit with the chips, crisps, football, soccer, all the cameos. That's a pretty good ad campaign. But the national team campaign where they do the corny sliding of the sides. I mean, at least they used the entire team and not extras. So you actually got Walker Zimmerman awkwardly trying not to look at the camera in the final clip. But like I said, I've got more notes from today's game than most of them this season. But since it is the holiday, we'll get out of here. Cowboys Overreact is also brought to you by R&R Auto Glass. Our friends Janet and the boys over there at Nakoma, right there, 281 in Nakoma, right by the airport. I mean, like we say it every time. We have every single one of us on this program associated with this program, associates of this program. We all can vouch. R&R is the best auto glass company in town. They'll get you in and out of there. Any kind of glass, except all insurance. Even as I said last week, you want the exact if you had specialty windshield from the dealership, they can get it for you, get it that day, get it as quick as they can, get it put on, get you in and out of there. R&R Auto Glass. Any issues you have with your windshield, take it over to Janet and those boys. They'll take care of you. Also brought to you by George and the boys at JM Pool and Spa. We have formed a pretty good relationship with George and his Stucknut radio ventures, and Mike crossing over with him. George joining us here a couple episodes ago. George, JM, a whole family operation. It's him, his boy, it's a son-in-law, it's everybody. They really, take pride in their work and can handle any level, any size pool, resort, spa, backyard, anything you need. I mean, hell, they even put us to work in one of their bigger accounts, one of the bigger resorts. But they know what they're doing. They wouldn't have put us out there if they weren't the special or didn't have the expertise to actually get it done. But yeah, it's George and JM pulling spa, covering this whole North San Antonio corridor. Also brought to you by our good friend, Mr. Singh, Texas Cheer Liquor, up to 9 locations here in the San Antonio area. When, of course, we like to remind him when he started with us, it was 5. We've jumped up to 9 now. Always need to load up for the holidays. Get your liquor, get your cigars, get all of your mixers, get everything you need for catching up with old friends, having drinks. Grab it all at Texas Cheer Liquor, one of their 9 locations here in the San Antonio area. LG, happy Thanksgiving, man.
Yes, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Did you eat a lot or what?
Oh, God, dude. That's why I'm telling you.
Is that why you're done?
That's why we're about cashed out. I'm saving. I know, Mike from the Hellscape Monday, he's going to have to bounce out at like 5 o'clock. So I'm going to have to kill those.
So he's doing the show from there Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he's got to go. The only time he could get an appointment to get that dog squared away was right there in the middle of the show.
Programming update, are we doing a Mike Taylor Live on Wednesday?
Yeah, I think we're going to do one. We might as well. We'll come in. We'll have some fun. I got some ideas for it. I don't want to give it away yet, but got some at least one guest lined up, potentially 2. So
look at you.
Yeah. We'll see.
Ideas, man. No more.
Well, I'm trying to, with Mike being stuck on a plane traveling across the Pacific that night, I want to make sure we do it justice if we're going to do it. So, yeah, we'll see. If they both fall through, though, then no, we'll cancel that and just wait for Mike.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Happy thanks to you, Joey. I'm about to, actually, as soon as we get off the air here.
Yeah, no, I pounded a 5-hour right before the game because I was worried I was going to pass out, especially if this thing got ugly, like I kind of expected it to. Oh, one, I do, condolences to everyone out there who had Cowboys minus 9, 9.5, 10, whatever it ended up at, because that garbage time touchdown really killed that. But besides that, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll be back on the radio show Monday, normal time, 4 o'clock. Mike will be with us there, and then have the rest of our Full-Throated Overreact coming at you Monday afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Overreact is brought to you by Pickleball Giant.